Good afternoon, sir, and thank you for joining us. It is a pleasure to be joined by Harish Jain ji, who is the director of Embiotic Laboratories. He is not only a successful pharma entrepreneur, a first generation pharma entrepreneur, also he is a strong industry voice as president of Federation of Pharma Entrepreneurs and the Karnataka Drugs and Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association. He is a member of the administration committee of PHARMEXCIL, the Pharmaceutical Export Promotion Council. So it is our sheer privilege and pleasure to have this conversation with you, sir.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure as well.
Thank you for joining us. As a very strong industry voice and a person with 30 years of experience in this industry, we want to learn from you, sir, how this industry has evolved. We know that India is one of the largest pharmaceutical exporters by volume, but it was not always like this, of course. And we want to know from you the kind of technology, the sophistication of processes, and the quality of products that India is today exporting to the world. What is your experience?
When you ask me like how the pharmaceutical industry in India has evolved, now if you look at say not long ago, maybe 4 or 5 decades back, India was net importer of pharmaceutical formulations. Not only API, we were importing even the basic national essential drugs. We were being imported, and they were being imported at a very exorbitant prices, and we were at the mercy of multinational companies. Now, thanks to some of the government initiatives on patent laws, now, the Indian pharmaceutical industry evolved over a period of time, and today we have reached a stage where Indian pharmaceutical industry is, in terms of volume, we are third largest in the world, and we are also exporting. There is no industry in India which is exporting their products to more than 200 countries. In fact, it is much more than even the membership of the United Nations. So I think that's a great. We are proud of this industry, and not only that, we have provided to the world the some of the most economical and the most quality, the best global quality products to this world. In fact, in some of the cases which are probably in detail somebody talks to me, I can tell that we have sent the quality benchmarks. I think very few people know about it. This is our pharmaceutical industry is only one of the industries we don't have. Not only that, we have to keep on improving our quality, but we also have to decrease our prices. There is always a pressure from the government, NGOs, and the regulators to always decrease our prices. And this has happened not only from the pharmacists who are working there, but also some of the active support from the machinery manufacturers, analytical equipment manufacturers, which has kept in pace with the requirement of the industry. And even there, a lot of things have happened which in India, which has supported the growth of pharmaceutical industry. I think that's in short I can say about what the pharmaceutical industry is doing today.
Thank you, sir. Those are really, inspirational insights for us, considering the cost pressures that Indian industry is operating under. And that brings me to the question of the Indian consumer. We know that the industry is exporting, but it's also supporting the Indian domestic market and the rising demand from India. In fact, we are all proud of the support that pharma industry has given, India in COVID to come out of the COVID pandemic. Coming to the local domestic demand, what are the demands for innovation and how is the industry supporting the Indian consumer is also changing. Of course, there is the cost pressure, but there is demand for new products, innovative packaging. So how are you supporting those requirements?
I think this is the question what you asked me is one of my favorite topic. And when you talk about innovation, I always wherever every forum I talk about Indian pharmaceutical industry has only a future only if we innovate. Now we all these years we have done all the India is known as a generic powerhouse. Now to sustain this generic powerhouse, it's going to be a very difficult task. Now, India, if it has to move up the value ladder, now I talked about we are the third largest in terms of volume, but in terms of value, we are the 14th largest. Now we have to we have to innovate. Now, innovate, why innovation? Very first thing, the patent pipeline is drying. So there are not much of products which are coming out of the patent. Even if the people products which are coming out of the patent, then we also have what is come to as a patent cliff. The initially, once the patent expires, for some time we will get a good pricing, but then afterwards, as the competition catches up, it is not economical for the Indian industry to concentrate only on generics. Now, only way to do it is by either you do a innovation or you get into a new chemical entities. Now, new chemical entities, you are looking at $2 billion of investment and a timeline of around 10 years and a success rate of less than 1%. Now, we don't have that kind of muscle power to do this. So, only way is a low hanging fruit, which is innovation. Now, India can do it. So India has all the required ingredients, whether you take manpower, quality manpower, the equipments, whether we are looking at the knowledge, everything we have. Now here we are looking at innovation is where we meet the unmet needs of the patient, what basically the patient wants. Now we are meeting the unmet needs. I can give you hundreds of examples where Indian industry has given innovative products which has helped the all the uh, companies to compete with the multinationals on quality rather than the price. I can think of maybe it is not today. I can think of a 3 decades back company called Ranbaxy, which was there, and there was a product of acidity which they brought for the first time into a effervescent tablet form. I think that was great. And the antibiotic, which was usually was supposed to be taken around 2 to 3 times a day, it was taken only one time a day. I think this is the kind of innovation what Indian companies are capable of.
Yes, and that brings me the point of knowledge and manpower. That brings me to the platform where this knowledge comes together. You are a very strong supporter of our trade show, Pharma Pro and Pack, Analytica, Anacon India, and India Lab Expo. So, how do these platforms promote this knowledge sharing and this cross fertilization of ideas? What is the role of these platforms?
I think one of the best thing of this particular platform is ki we have knowledge sharing not only during uh, the exhibition and the conference. There are also, I think, you're holding a lot of road shows. Now during road shows also a lot of knowledge sharings and networking happens. I think that's a great thing. I think you have been doing all across the country as well. Now during the event per se, like there are conferences, then there are also the exhibition. Now last year when it was held in Hyderabad, I was there and I was amazed because we were just coming out of the COVID, and the kind of enthusiasm and the not only with the exhibitors but also with the visitors what we had. Now if you are looking at, I always say if you are looking at to set up a new plant or increasing your capacity to, or you modernize your plant, or you are trying to get into some kind of a new dosage form, this is the platform which has to be used. That's the only platform in India where you can get a quality Indian machineries or equipments at the best possible price you can think of. If you have to do, there are a lot of other bigger exhibitions as well, but those exhibitions I would say is more of a showrooms. But then if you have to do business, this is the platform.
As we mentioned, India, we say that we enable meaningful handshakes and unlock, business opportunities. So you mentioned in earlier the support that the machinery manufacturers have given to this industry. And sometimes when we celebrate, the achievements of pharma industry, we forget that there is a huge, support system available from Made in India machinery. So, what is your message to your, machinery suppliers and the participants who are coming to India, Pharma Pro and Pack?
See, as you scale up your manufacturing capabilities, not in terms of quality, but also in terms of quantity, you should have a control about through your processes. You need to innovate your processes. You need to have all possible things, all possible technologies to be put in place, whether it's artificial intelligence or whether you are looking at robotics. Now, today, when you talk about, say, for example, a machine which is giving you millions of tablets per day, then what we were doing in earlier days in terms of physically checking the tablets and then checking the weight, thickness, and all, it's not possible. That can happen now only by all the today. Earlier, those machines were only mechanical in nature. Today, we are looking at machines are not only a mechanical part; it's also has lot of components from electronic industry. We are also looking at computer science into that. So the machinery manufacturers of India have kept pace with that and brought in the latest machineries where you have more control over your processes and you are automizing the things. Now, when you automize, you have a much every tablet which is coming out of your product or every vial which is coming out of your machines has a assured quality. Now, today we have, say, for example, in a vial or an ampule, if you're looking at particulate matter, the volume of ampules which are coming out of the machines and which is the India do require that kind of volumes. It cannot be done by a manual visual checking. It has to be done by a machine, validated machines. I think that validation is extremely important, and we are doing this some of the best quality machineries in these countries. Even the inspection of the labels, everything you talk about, even the tablet, whether it's any black particles are there, any the weight variation is there, in terms of deformed capsules are there. Everything is done by machine. So we have to have the latest machineries, and this is the platform where you'll get everything.
So you have seen these, precision machineries, inspection machineries being developed in the Indian ecosystem. So I suppose you will join us in September for our show. And what is your message to the participants, both from the manufacturer side and the visitors and entrepreneurs like you who will maybe make the purchase decisions at our show? Do you have some message for them?
If I'm as a formulator who is buying machineries, I have two messages for the machinery or the equipment manufacturer. You build your machines looking at least a decade what is going to have. You should keep abreast with the developments which are happening in the pharmaceutical field across the world. So you understand that what is going to be your user requirement, and you have to build your machines which are easy to use, robust. This is where some of the foreign countries have built those kind of capabilities. We need to have something which is can be done in India. You got to have your machines which are robust, which can run up to say a decade, couple of decades, and then you should have the machineries which can take up the regulatory requirements for the future, not for today. You should have regulatory requirements which are to be met in the future. Now, people who are from the industry who are visiting this expo, have a look at the expo. These are the different kind of missionaries, and ask questions whatever is your, don't be afraid to go, okay, sometimes you might ask you a silly question, but then these are the questions, this is what you want. So ask questions and ensure that your requirements are met by the machinery manufacturers or the equipment manufacturers. Nothing, once you ask question, the machinery manufacturer learns what is the requirement of the user.